You can support this show at patreon.com/ASAPodcasting. Welcome to a Skyrim Addict podcast, where I will discuss my adventures and misadventures through Skyrim. Join me. Add your stories, add your tales. Let's get into this thing. I need like more than 3 seconds to get back. That's what it is. Welcome to Skyrim Addict podcast. I'm Michael. And we got a full house this week. We got Victor, who's muted, and Juan.
Hello.
Who's not muted. And Victor, who's not muted now.
I'm not muted. I was just muting the YouTube stream. So
there you go.
Yeah.
And we got Steve, Skyrim Book Club.ca.
Hello. Hey, Steve.
And we're talking E3 tonight, Bethesda.
Yeah. And we're all on camera tonight.
Yeah,
awesome.
Odd.
I felt kind of out of place. I figured I might as well turn that on too.
Good. I'm glad.
I was promised a multi-picture window template from one of the panelists here.
I did
to
download
arrange it in a roundtable type fashion, if you will.
I downloaded OBS. I have not played with it yet, though.
Yeah, I'm going to try one of these days. I will get the Critical Role thing going.
I did it. I asked Charlene about it because that's what they use.
Yeah,
and I was talking to her a bit about it the other day on Twitter. But
they use Skype though, don't they?
Yeah, they use Skype. Yeah, so I don't know how it integrates with Hangouts. Actually,
it's harder. Because I've looked it up a couple of times, and there are Skype templates for OBS.
Probably
but there
easier.
Don't seem to be any for Hangouts.
Yeah, probably just easier to. Oh no, you know what? They actually don't use Skype. They use a paid service.
Ah, even better. Yeah. Well, one of these days we'll do it.
Yeah, they use a conferencing service, so it's a pretty clean audio. But yeah, I mean Skype's pretty simple. I used to use it all the time. It's just always got funky. It had issues. So, but I mean it was free. What am I going to complain about?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be to me anyway.
Not as stable.
Podcasters use it. Yeah. Hangouts just seems totally stable.
Isn't there one called like Babbel or something similar? It's sort of come on. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole if I don't remember the name, but it's similar kind of idea. But no, it's a free service, and you were talking about multi-screen and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of what it offers. It's sort of the equivalent of like the water cooler. You know, you can kind of drop in, drop out.
Oh, okay.
Various rooms and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Of course, it'll come to me at the end of the show.
You would think like you could just set up the everybody's panel on Hangout, just have it, fill the screen as opposed to bop back and forth between the different ones.
And you think Google would like that because they could run little ads in between the squares?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have like a scroll.
They could monetize you.
Monetize everything. Have a separate block just for ads. I mean, I'm sure they love that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Not trying to give them ideas or anything, but
yeah. No, I'm sure they've had them.
Oh yeah.
Well, that ties into something I was talking about with someone on Twitter. Actually, this will segue into sort of Skyrim stuff or Elder Scrolls. Fellow that I know online, he just started connecting Alexa to his Skyrim. Play it through like voice commands or whatever. So my reply to this is like, this is fantastic. I can't wait to start messing with their analytics and see what kind of ads get generated based on like all this alchemy and witchcraft and like archery and, stuff that I'm doing. Like, I really want to see what these ads will look like.
Did you said did you watch the whole stream last night?
No, I've seen some highlights and stuff. Like, I definitely saw the 32-second Elder Scrolls 6 teaser. I watched the whole thing about Blades. I guess I watched Starfield, but I haven't read enough about it to.
Okay, so you don't know quite how ironic your
I know, that's the best part.
Just was.
No.
So they ran. You have to see it. It's very, very funny, actually. They created a Skyrim ad, which includes a really, really funny Alexa vignette of a guy sitting on a couch playing Skyrim through Alexa,
which is
very good.
real, by the way.
Is this the
Yes,
Skyrim Very Special Edition?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's and I just heard, yeah, it is actually real. I thought it was a joke, but
It's a real app. Yeah, I guess
I gotta click on that now.
Yeah, it started as a joke and then it like snowballed and then it turned into a real app. Essentially, is what happened.
Because I read the description for that on Amazon, and I got about halfway through, and I'm like, "You're jerking my chain. This isn't a game." Like, you know.
Yeah, no, it's very funny.
No, it was very, very good. Yeah, because the joke of what are we going to put Skyrim on next, and
he ends up on his refrigerator, but
the Motorola Sky page,
the whole Fus Roda thing throws everything off his coffee table, and then the wife comes in. And it was good. It was very fun. So.
Is there a shot to clean everything up?
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. Teach it to my 5-year-old.
Yeah.
She's noisy. She likes to shout.
Just say it backwards.
Backwards.
So it's done.
Yeah. That was of course one of the big announcements. Very special edition. Oh gosh. Well, we had what? We can go through the other games real quickly. I don't know how much any of us play them or whatever.
Yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to have Sean on, because he done
probably
a lot of,
knows more about those.
Rage 1, and he's played all that other stuff.
It looks like GTA by another name to me.
Yeah,
I
it's
could be wrong. That's just the snippets I'm picking up.
Well, it's sort of Just Cause meets, like Juan was saying last night, Crisis. It's a lot like Crisis. And it has that. It's Arcane, right? So you're going to get that not Arcane.
Is it id?
No, well, id's the publisher. Is it Arcane? I can't remember the studio. Anyway, but they did Just Cause.
Okay.
And they have a very, very, very tall Viking lead guy. I think he was 2 feet taller than the guy.
That guy's huge.
Yeah. Oh god, he was gigantic. Yeah.
And he was really, really, really nervous too.
Yeah.
So, it was sweet. It was kind of sweet. I felt bad because the crowd was just like not into it at all.
Well, yeah, I think they were all thrown after the Andrew WK performance. Like nobody was expecting that, and then they were kind of just like.
That was a Microsoft moment.
It was weird. Like it didn't seem to fit. I mean, he's fun enough and all, but it just didn't seem to fit what they were doing. I think if they had him playing live and showed the trailer with the live playing of the whatever theme of the game or whatever, I think that would have been a little more interesting.
Yeah, but this is an audience full of tragically hip gamers. I mean, they're not going to be into this sort of one-hit wonder has-been guy. I mean, so. I don't know what Bethesda was thinking.
It was a strange choice. It was a strange choice, but
that's why I say it was sort of a Microsoft moment, because they're famous for having engineers do their presentations, which means they're going to be really boring. But yeah, I was a little taken aback by that.
So Rage 2 was the first thing they came out with, right? That was
and frankly, it looks gorgeous. It looks
it
looks like fast paced, like Wolfenstein,
nonstop.
And I was kind of I'm interested in it. I'll play it a little bit, maybe. I don't think I'll be all that excited by it, but it has its I don't know. It's got a little bit of a Mad Maxy feel to it too. If anybody played that, it was a great game, and post-apocalyptic. I don't know.
Is it intended to be multiplayer, single player? Can you co-op across like servers or something?
I don't remember. Is there a multiplayer part to it, or is it just a? Let me just.
I'm not sure.
It didn't look like it was multiplayer.
I think it was just single player, but
Avalanche. That's the studio, by the way. I'm looking it up quickly. I don't think there was a. It's not an MMO.
No.
So, there might be a.
Oh yeah, there is. Let's see, multiplayer. Rage 2 has 2 multiplayer modes, Road Rage and Wasteland Legends. In Road Rage, 4 players compete in a free-for-all match, an arena, and collect as many rally points, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Legends of Wasteland is a 2-player co-op missions.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. So,
that could be cool.
Yeah.
And I'll bet there's going to be a battle royale eventually.
Yeah, that seems like the way everything goes.
Yeah. But other than that, it didn't really. And then what else did they? Legends, blah. I'm not a big CCG player at all. Never got into Magic. So any of you guys into that stuff?
I've never played it. I know Colin has, so I figured I'd ask him next week when we do Oblivion.
Yeah,
I figure I'll have more thoughts on it. But I don't know if they really said what they were going to do other than updating the decks and graphics and stuff, right?
Right, and it's available now and all that. In other words, Sean played a lot of Magic when he was a kid, and I know he's played Hearthstone a lot, and Gwent, but I don't know if he's played Legends or not.
Yeah, they mostly spoke about just updating it, new decks, all that kind of stuff. So,
right.
I think they also said they're going to change some of the graphics to a little more, more stuff going on with that, as opposed to just the cards doing something. Looked like there was more animation involved with it.
Yeah,
I know Colin plays that more than any of us here.
Yeah,
yeah, and you figure with upgraded phones and all, it makes sense for them to upgrade that as well.
Yeah.
To go forward.
Yeah, it seemed throughout they were planning for sort of the Apple 10 generation.
Yeah, it looks that way.
They dropped that name repeatedly throughout the show. Like that's sort of their standard,
Yeah. It seems maybe we finally hit the point where they feel comfortable putting, more onto mobile because of its capabilities.
Yeah.
Which didn't happen before.
Oh, well, they've surpassed the computers we all had 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and then some. I mean,
yeah.
Like they sent humans to space with punch card computers.
Yeah,
We have the world's knowledge in our pocket.
In our pockets,
and we can also play video games. That's
the important thing.
Too true.
That's pretty much why cell phones were invented, right?
Yes,
it's true.
Yes, indeed. Well, that's
Star Trek 3 cell phones were invented. 3 nerds sat around. You're like, I want a communicator. That's how that really happened.
I want one right here on my wrist, man. Yeah.
That can track my heartbeats and tell me that I'm fat and lazy and I should get up and run more.
Yes.
Yeah.
When to eat, when to drink, when to sleep, etc.
Right. We have a Ministry of Sleep in Canada now.
Oh,
that's a bit ominous, but no, the government will keep track of voluntarily recorded sleep data.
Oh.
As part of it's a subsection of Health Canada, so people can opt in to give them their Garmin data or whatever.
Oh wow.
On their sleep patterns, and so I think that's fantastic that we have a Ministry of Sleep.
It is very important. Sleep is an important thing.
It's just some man or woman in a uniform comes around a certain time of day, knocks on your door, and nap time, Steve.
Time to go down.
According to our records, you're 7 minutes past bedtime.
Well, there's a lot of I would say Latin cultures, the French and Mexico, where they have what they call the siesta in the middle of the day, because you get a 2-hour lunch, you get an hour for your meal, and then hour for your nap or whatever, and then you go back to work.
Yeah, that's very
so jealous of these people.
In Spain as well. I mean, people in Spain often eat dinner between 8 and 10 at night because I'm in bed by then. So
yes, me too. Yeah. I'm very jealous of their late nights.
No, I like early mornings. So Wolfenstein was cool.
Oh yes, that was the next one.
That was a kind of a nifty little. I wasn't expecting a whole new Wolfenstein, so I'm kind of stoked for that.
Sort of moving the franchise into the 80s.
Yeah. So is it? I didn't really get a feeling whether it's a full game, or is it just a co-op?
There's a
DLC.
Well,
seems like it's a full game that you can do. That you can either play by yourself or co-op.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
And that's in 2019. That's coming out.
Yeah.
What else did they? They did a little bit on. They talked about Quake a little bit, but I don't think it was anything new. It was just.
No, I kind of felt bad for that guy too, because he got kind of real big yawns from the audience.
Yeah, it was just kind of about what was going on with it or whatever. But yeah.
And the graphics still look kind of old school.
Yeah,
and maybe that's deliberate. I don't know.
It might be for what they're doing. Yeah.
But yeah, Quake Arena has been it's getting a little long in the tooth.
Let's see. There was Prey was the other one.
Prey was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, DLC for Prey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was it just DLC? Okay,
I think so. Wasn't it? Or it's another online mode.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. There was and there was some VR stuff with
and VR. Yeah,
they're trying to do everything VR.
Yeah,
Have any of you guys played Prey? I haven't at all.
I have not. No,
know nothing about it.
Yeah, I think Jeremy did.
I think they did Doom as well.
Mm-hmm.
What was the Doom? It was Doom something. I don't remember what the
Infinite.
Okay, all right.
Was it Infinite? Or am I just making stuff up?
And that's another online thing. Doom Eternal. If Doom Eternal is the sequel to Doom, I'm not going to run the video right and see what Engadget has to say about it. Actually, I own Doom for the Switch, and I've never actually played it yet on the Switch, but that should be fun.
We own it in VR, and I can't play it, and Connor didn't really like it, so
yeah,
he played it a little bit, but yeah, he wasn't really down with it. He's all about Fortnite, so
yeah. Yeah, when's that coming to the Switch? Soon.
Yeah, I assume that'll be coming up soon as well. Yeah. And it was Doom. There was that. Fallout Shelter to the consoles.
Yep, including Switch.
Including Switch. That I think that would be nice on Switch and even on the consoles. Actually, a nice.
Is it already on the Xbox?
It might be actually. I'm not sure.
They didn't mention Xbox. So
it may already be on it. Yeah,
it is on PS4, right?
I don't know.
No, they announced that it was going to be on it.
Right.
So
right.
They announced the PS4 and Switch.
Yeah.
And that's like as of the announcement. Basically, that was
that was immediate, right?
That was immediate.
Yeah.
Still free to play, of course. Well, I mean, freemium, right? You can always buy your way.
Yeah.
Through these games, but
I tried it when they announced it. When it was 2 E3s ago, and
I played it then, as well.
I didn't really like it all that much, so I've never played it since. I know it's evolved quite a bit since then.
Yeah, it was very basic in the beginning.
3 E3s ago.
Yeah, it was 2015.
Yeah, because he said it was the 3rd anniversary.
June 14th, 2015, as a matter of fact.
Okay, right. The same one when they announced Fallout 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I was actually there that time.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot. You were.
Oh, that's right. Fun. Yes, that's right. Yeah, correct. Cool.
Yeah,
I have.
I really enjoyed Fallout Shelter, but I found you hit a wall with it where like everything became too much real time.
Yeah, for sure.
So I would I would have these lesser goals, right? Instead of like building all the way to the bottom and all that, I'd be like, okay, what do I want to unlock? How many citizens is that? So on and so forth. And I found that like I would get to this point where I'm now waiting like hours for my game to do something. When it's supposed to be, you pull out your pocket because you have 2 minutes and you want to play, right?
Yeah.
And I would just reboot because the early game is when stuff is happening most frequently. I found.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I would just do what every nerd who's ever played Fallout Shelter does: is you come up with a dozen different ways to like mess with these people, different social engineering plans and stuff like that.
Yeah. It just became too much to keep track of. I felt at one point there was so many rooms and so many people. I was like, I'd maxed way back in the beginning when there was the cap on how many people you could have, how many rooms, all that kind of stuff. I maxed it out, and then I was kind of like, taking a lot of time to take care of all these people.
Yeah, and your first fire is crazy because it's okay when you got like a dozen rooms and you're clicking 8 people around or whatever. But when you've got like 17 models or whatever, right? It got pretty insane. But then again, I mean, the bigger screen potential of having it on a console, like you can play this on a 50-inch TV or, you know, even a more modest television. And actually, I feel like it might be a bit easier to manage.
46.
See more. Sorry, what'd you say, Victor?
You mean like a 46? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, just something you could take in your pocket and carry it off to the hotel with you. Yeah, portable plasma. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Actually, I think that's, and even like the Switch gives you that bigger screen and ability, and not much bigger, but at least it's somewhat bigger, you know.
Yeah, even jumping up to a tablet. Like I got a Samsung Galaxy tablet as a gift last year, and even that jumped to that like 9 or 10-inch screen.
It's a big difference
from like a 4-inch phone or whatever. It was a huge difference. Which is why when we get around to talking about blades, I'm quite excited. So.
Oh well, yeah. That's a good segue because I was going to mention that when he first began that, and it was clear he was going to announce something Elder Scrolls that was like Fallout Shelter. I'm thinking, oh god, no, please, no.
Yeah, I was concerned, and so let's get to Blades.
That looks really cool.
I'm super interested in that. Yeah.
I've already signed up for it.
Yeah, that looks like a real game.
Yeah.
Sort of a little bit Infinity Blade. Did any of you guys play Infinity Blade on early on the smart?
No,
I did not either.
Yeah,
I don't do much gaming on my phone.
No, me either. Yeah. Other than like Words with Friends.
Yeah, I don't either. But Infinity Blade was fun back in the day. But yeah, it actually looks pretty good. I'm a little disappointed. It's available. It's not available for my older iPad. I have an iPad 3rd generation mini, and it's not available. But it is available for the bigger iPad Airs, the newer ones, and of course the X and the 8 and the 7. So I pre-ordered it.
I'm assuming the 3rd generation probably couldn't handle it.
It could, but it's not on the list.
Yeah, it's not on the list. Yeah. I actually, my phone can't handle it, but I got to upgrade anyway, so I signed up for the beta. I've just been holding off. So if I get in the beta, I'll upgrade. If not, I'll just keep waiting.
Yeah, I signed up. I have a 7 Plus, so that's supposed to work. So.
I still have a 6, but like with a broken screen and the battery's barely working. But I was so angry after the whole battery fiasco, I didn't want to give them money ever again. So I've just been holding off but it's at the point where it's like ridiculous that I'm holding off, but I still do anyway.
You're like the only person who knows how to use this phone.
Yeah.
You know that car we all had to start with? You could jiggle this and do that. And, you're the only one who knows how to work this phone now. Yeah, no, I think it'll be fascinating. So I'm really curious where they're going to drop it in the timeline, because there's a lot of interesting stuff you can do with the blades, of course, as we all know. And the idea that he says you're in exile, but Howard made a reference to you are the Empire's top agents. So that to me implies it's going to be farther back in history. Like it's not sort of like a post Skyrim version of the blades, I don't think.
No, it's got to be further back in history, I would assume. Yeah. And so you have the 3 areas. You have the town, the abyss, and the arena, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I assume arena is PvP, correct?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you play against other players.
The abyss, what was that?
That one looks like a no, I think the abyss is kind of like a survival mode.
Oh, okay.
Where you just kind of almost like a Dead is Dead, where you just see how far you can go before you die.
So it's a rogue type procedurally generated dungeon that never ends. The idea is you take a character and see how far you can get through it. Now, I heard that, and instantly the part of me that has constant ideas for characters was fascinated by this, because to me that sounds, I mean, roguelikes are fun anyways, but that sounds to me like the perfect build testing environment.
Yeah.
Because even just from the screenshots, to say nothing of what will probably come out afterwards, it looks like there's a reasonable character generation. It's not like pick a warrior, pick a mage, pick a whatever. It looks like you're controlling it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to have perks and stuff by the look of it. But to me, I'm going to fall into the abyss, testing all the various ways you can play this game and build your characters. And I did notice that the elven armor does not look any better.
No, it looks very similar. So the dwarven looks very similar also, which obviously it would, since they weren't,
I shouldn't trash them. I just think those helmets look funny. You can't wear them with anything but the rest of the elven armor, which is a shame.
Yeah, I've never liked them. They're pretty crappy.
And then town mode.
I like that. God. Yeah, I have a feeling that could be dangerously time sucking.
Right, 100%. Yeah. But now here's my question again. So we were talking about this with Fallout Shelter, and you don't want to accidentally compare apples to oranges. But what I'm really wondering about with this is, will there be a real-time component which you can buy your way past in this town area? Because it seems like that's where they're planting it. That's where the fresh NPCs are. That's where the questing is. And if you're a Skyrim nerd or an Elder Scrolls nerd, you want the questing. Yes. The roguelike will satisfy you for a while, but you want the stories. So it's funny because, again, I'll throw this to someone with more Fallout knowledge, but I don't know how the Fallout settlement system works because I've never played the games. But do you think that's maybe a template for what they're going to do with towns? And could that sort of, in a reduced fashion, be ported to a phone?
Well, they've been building that kind of thing slowly over a bunch of years. I mean, really, it started with Hearthfire in Skyrim, and then was taken to a much greater level in Fallout 4. So, I mean, it's only building on that. It's hard to know. Create your own city. I mean, there are on the PC Gamer site, for instance, there are actually 4 little vignettes: quest and explore, create your city, conquer your rivals, and cutting edge combat. So there's something quest and explore outside the environment of the cities and dungeons.
Well, I think that's where the quests you get them in the town.
Right. Yeah. So yeah.
But he said it was going to be an open world. It was going to be a completely open world.
Right.
So, he said that as your town grows, then you get more and more quests off of that.
Yeah. So that sounds cool. I don't see a phone or a mobile device being able to have the power to do a lot of complex settlement building like you can in Fallout 4. Yeah. But you can be damn sure that's coming in
for sure.
Yes, 6.
It's going to depend on how they manage it. If you need a Wi-Fi connection all the time, like a lot of these games are, and most of what you're doing is happening on their server, there could be some really strong potential.
That's true.
If they're not asking your phone to do all the work, right?
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
Potentially. Right. And visiting your friends' towns. Is it just me, or did anybody else have like a fun-built flashback? Right?
Oh, totally.
At a certain point, you've got to go visit your friends.
Yes,
to continue the game.
No, I thought, my little tail wagged when he said that. And Sean and I were texting at the same time, and we were both going, "Yes, all right, definitely." That sounds really cool. And in fact, they seem to be moving in that direction for a lot of stuff. If you want to get move from there into the elephant in the room.
Adjoining the two, do you think this could be a precursor to being able to manage some of your ES6 stuff offline or technically online, away from
using your phone,
away from your console, managing parts of the game via phone or.
Absolutely. All
like if they had automated crafting, you could stack and stuff like that. Like if you wanted to grind skills out of game, but you could just have notifications come to your phone. And
that's always been my dream. The app where you could craft away from.
Well, all these guys are doing that. I mean, Microsoft's been talking about conversions for years. So I don't see why Bethesda wouldn't be looking at the same thing. I think this is absolutely a step. The precursor to the mobile app for ES6.
Well, they said that the arena would be cross-platform.
Yes,
because they said you could fight somebody on your phone with somebody on their VR system somewhere.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You didn't have to be on the same system as well. That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Fortnite's already doing that, right? Yep. So right. And so is Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes,
those are all cross-platform games. So that's quite possible, unless you're Sony.
I know. Yeah, of course.
And just as an aside, Michael, you should know that I am a Chinese crafting farmer. If you ever need a character run up to a certain level, just give me your Steam account information, and I'll handle that for you.
There you go.
It's one of my favorite parts of the game.
That's
empty your wallet before you do.
Just empty. That's been my dream, like for a long time. Though, is the crafting app or the home, like the app where you could make your stuff for your house and things like that. So you could do it while you're not actually, in game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have 20 minutes at lunch. Let me make a bunch of armor to sell, or let me sell stuff, or let me,
And as he pointed out, you can play the game in portrait mode, so you can be in a meeting at work and play the game, and everybody will think you're not. Of course, that's going to last about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
because the boss will be playing it too.
Yeah, true. You could be driving down a taxiway. Just that
you'll both curse at the same moment and realize that you're playing against each other. Yeah. And there's no getting out of that now. But of course, you're like both of you, right? So phones down, the meeting just continues.
That's right.
Much more subdued.
Right now, motherfucker, outside. Yeah.
Yes, the House Carl. Andrew said the House Carl app. Yeah.
There you go.
Now, what Andrew needs is the inventory management.
Yeah.
Or just anybody who plays an Elder Scrolls game, because it's just hoarders.
Oh, God, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, imagine you're crafting now away from the game, and now you come back and you have 7,000 suits of armor in a chest. Because all you've been doing is crafting while you've been away. But you could
I actually locked my game up last week from making so many potions, experimenting with complete alchemy and crafting overhaul. I would open my inventory to try and sell them off to somebody, man. And it was this grind, and the mouse would start and it was and because of course I only had so many ingredients, so I have 85 potions that are all the same, but they didn't stack for some reason.
Oh gosh,
I guess potentially my skill got slightly better. I don't know. Something in the metadata, because they look the same.
Keiko is really bad at that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something in the coding, and I believe she's trying to fix it. I forget what you're running for PC. There is a 2.0 beta for Keiko, but it's not all that stable. But you might try that. She may have fixed some of that.
Well, I learned my lesson. Is really what it is you do a bit, and then you sell, you do a bit, and then you sell. But I went through this great crafting session. I had a lot of fun. I like it. And then the next time I load the game, I'm like, okay, I got a couple hours to play. And the first 45 minutes was just mindlessly one-clicking these potions to sell them to whomever, because they were garbage too. So I just sort of stood at Bellathor's or wherever I was and just click. It's fantastic. But yeah.
So did this question get answered on the chat? This Stalwart Geek.
Kyle.
Is that Kyle? I
thought
that I recognized the icon, but I wasn't sure. Hey, Kyle, how you doing?
Should watch this on YouTube.
So obviously, Kyle did not watch the thing last night. Must have been at work.
Yeah, Blades is the Elder Scrolls mobile / not mobile game.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's not mobile.
Yeah, it's more than mobile.
Yeah.
Because it's also going to be on
more
consoles.
Mobile than mobile. Yeah. That's I'm now hearing what is it? White Zombie in my head.
Well, I guess it's starting out mobile only, correct? Or
yes, but moving to all the platforms eventually.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
Since he said that right off the bat, that it'll be moving very quickly to
I would think,
platforms as possible, because it's going to have to be there. They're tied me over until what are we thinking? A minimum of 2020 before ES6 comes out.
Yeah,
supposedly in pre-production now.
Yes.
So,
can we speculate about the trailer now? Can we do it?
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think High Rock. I think High Rock 100%, because you look at the description of High Rock on the UESP wiki, and you look at the shape of the map, and then the overshot of just the way the terrain looks and the coastline and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It would be funny because they did Daggerfall way back in the day. So going back to that part of the world, maybe not, but I'm not going to bet my beard on it, but that's my early guess is High Rock.
See, I have to, that was my first guess too, but if and now we're going to really geek out here. If you watch the camera and the direction that it's going, and let's just say for speculation's sake that big tall mountain way in the background there is the throat of the world, okay? Because it's a very big, very tall mountain, and if it is, then you're coming from the east, not the west. And the sea on your right, which I can't see any islands or land masses across the water, that's got to be the Sea of Goats. Ghosts. And so if that's the direction you're coming from, then you're coming from Vardenfell. And so...
and that did look like a big crater. That could be some left over from Red Mountain, right?
Right. That's what I was thinking. So what's that city on the edge of the crater? Now, that's a good question. I have no idea. That's more like Minas Tirith or something like that. It doesn't look like...
We need like Star Trek level screens where we could like zoom in, magnify times 20 and blah, 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 really just dig into the architecture of it.
Yeah, really. And then, but there's, if you look far in the distance on the coastline, there's a city in the picture. So... but if that is the throat of the world, then you're coming from the other side, from the east side rather than the west. But I agree with you. It's got to be on the northern half of well, got to be. It looks like it's in the northern half of Tamriel, whether it's somewhere in Hammerfell along the Iliac Bay. Maybe I suppose you could have a large body of water on your right if you're on the High Rock side of the Iliac Bay, right? Or if you're heading in the other direction, you could have it on your right if you're in Hammerfell. But I don't know where else you get that large body of water on the right with that kind of terrain.
That's a good point.
So it could be completely fanciful, and they're totally going to make it in Black Marsh.
Could be at Morars.
Yeah. Or I could be going. That's the other possibility.
Yeah.
It could be way up on another continent.
That's true. Or it could be multiple location.
Yeah, well, we'll see that. Okay, so let's tie them all together then, because I think Fallout 76 is what we're going to be expecting ES6 to look like, right? Only better. ES6 is going to be better because it's going to be 2 or 3 years down the line. But
you're talking about a single player game as opposed to all online too.
Well, that's the question: is ES6 going to have both, or are they going to? They're clearly they're trying to redefine. At least it seems to me with 76, they're sort of trying to redefine the MMO because they're making it a big sandbox open world, which a lot of MMOs really aren't. Right?
Did you see that interview with Todd Howard today?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
I know he said specifically Starfield is single player, and I'm pretty sure he said ES6 also. Really?
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't like any kind of.
Yeah, that's a yay for me.
That was the one where he discussed, 6 being in pre-production as opposed to Starfield being technically in production.
I think Kyle. Andrew already answered you. Okay.
Sorry about that. Yes.
Well, because originally they were saying 2019 for Fallout 76, and then all of a sudden last night it's November 14th.
Yeah, November
which
14th.
is very brave considering what else is coming out right around then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but I guess they figure they're big enough. And they can stand up to was it 2K or whoever they are.
This is a company that successfully sold you Skyrim 6 times. They're not afraid of somebody
They're
else
not
with
afraid.
their major franchise pieces.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not afraid of it.
Yeah. How many platforms was Red Dead on? Yeah. Come on.
Come on. Yeah. I think from what he had said in I forget who did the interview. It's on YouTube, but Starfield, he considered Starfield in production because it is playable.
Yeah.
So now they are like what they mean. Essentially, they put the majority of the team on it when it's in production mode, ready to come out, and pre-production is still a smaller part of the team. So, 6 was not playable, but he said they could do some things in it basically, but not anything.
So that means by next E3 we'll see some in-game.
I'm guessing. If he's saying Starfield is in production, I'm guessing that's next year's E3 big thing.
Right. Yeah.
And then with a release, the normal November release, of course.
Right. And then some teaser for ES6, and then 2020 for ES6, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe I was thinking 20. Yeah, I'm thinking. I think
your mouth to Todd's ears.
I think 2 years is
the Todd.
Yeah, exactly.
The Todd.
Geek's Quest. Yeah.
I think 2 years is definitely the optimistic slant. Still,
yeah,
it's probably 3.
I'm sorry, I just can't buy that. I think he's being cagey.
He could be too. I mean, come on, they never release anything.
They don't really announce stuff that far in the future.
My thing is, I don't know. I guess it depends on how Starfield does. I mean, if Starfield's a huge hit, do you need to follow it up the next year with Elder Scrolls 6?
Yes.
Is it a massive troll?
Yes.
Because just everybody's been talking about when are they going to come? When are they going to come? Like, did they literally just make a trailer with their game engine and throw it up there just so that people didn't like boo and rip the chairs out of the floor?
No,
out of E3.
I think that would have happened if they hadn't, but I don't think that's why they did it. I do think that he was doing some fan service there.
Yeah, well, I think part of it was because
if it doesn't come within 2, or we don't get any real news within 2 years, there's definitely going to be a lot of rage going on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Rage 3.
Yeah, Rage 3. It'll be Rage 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
But every year, every year you can only do so much with Skyrim, right? Like, the modding community is quite good. Okay, you go special edition, so it's 64, but like, just eventually it just starts to look like an old game.
Yeah,
you play like an old game. Like, you start to lose people to, whatever's across the grass is always greener, right? Like, you lose people to what's come out, and we start looking at other RPG franchises which can offer the action RPG very well. So
or maybe another developer sitting there going, well, this open world sandbox world seems to be doing really well, so why don't we do something and bring it out and pick up all those people that are waiting for Elder Scrolls 6? And then once Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, and depending on how well that other game did, then they sit there and be like, well, I don't know if we really want to go back to that, or,
I don't know. To be honest with
hard.
you, I don't want to be.
I mean, there's still hardcore fans that will definitely pick it up and just drop any other game.
Yeah, I don't want to be too much of a fanboy, but truly, there's no other company that does this kind of game.
That's true.
All the other supposed RPGs really are
not like this. Yeah.
So and the big thing is this entire world is alive.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has a history, it has a past, it has a future, and it has a present.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it has a fully developed map, and the races, and there's people that know the history, and they sit there and I mean, you see it in the modding community where they make stuff and they keep it lore friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nobody is making up new lore. I mean, not outrageously new anyway. Right. There's this thing. So what does everybody think of the Fallout 76 thing? What exactly is Bethesda doing with that? It's not an MMO, traditional MMO. It's not it looks like it has sort of elements of RTS in there with the settlement stuff, and it has elements of there's co-op play.
Right.
I'm not even sure that you can call it real PvP, right? It's not.
I actually rewatched it, and it says you can sit there, and they have the nuclear devices everywhere.
Yeah, there's 3 of them or something. Yeah.
Basically, it says you can go launch them and destroy whoever's settlement, and then go and pick up the pieces. Well, so it seems like it's going to be just kind of a
you can do it as
real survival of the fittest, and if you decide to be like a raider yourself and just kind of take whatever you need and what you want, and as long as it almost seems like if they don't really fix it, the min-maxers are just going to dominate.
Is this going to be a single server, or is it multiple servers available?
A lot of servers, because they're all.
It's like 20 people.
Yeah, well, they said dozens.
Okay.
Well, I thought he said like 2 dozen
specifically that they're all linked though.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you build something somewhere, you just move depending on which server you're on, it travels with you.
Right. Which is pretty ambitious. I mean, I think they're really well. We'll see how it works. As he alluded to in his speech about bugs, there was a lot of sort of self-deprecating humor in that whole.
And it sounds like
presentation. A
lot of, because this is so different, a lot of it is in flux and what happens in the beta and all that, and how the first few months go. And I'm sure there's going to be major adjustments as they work it, in the beginning.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, they did that with ESO, where they're like, "Oh, we got this going on," and the one good thing about ESO is they do listen to their community and they try to make changes. And sometimes the squeaky wheel gets but they do actually listen to their community and they try to make improvements and try to make all this stuff to sit there and please at least the majority of the gamers, as opposed to just saying, no, this is the way we want it and this is the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
Was there ESO news, Juan?
They just talked about the new dungeon with having to do with
werewolves, right?
The werewolves, yes. And then we're going back to Black Marsh.
Oh, that's right, Black Marsh. That's what, the end of the year?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that should be exciting, and then it'll be interesting what they have as the 4th chapter next year as well, because they've been kind of exposing big land masses. They talked about Somerset, which has already been released, and that is a lot of fun.
So Cookie Guy.
Oh, it's Keith. Yeah.
Keith, kind of single player will still see other single players. So it is, but in that regard, it's still a non MMO, right? I mean, so
I think that's the
like
other
Dark Souls element where you can cross over into people's other people's worlds, or like you could see people. I think even if they weren't able to interact with your world.
I think he specifically said there's. I mean, he didn't specifically say there's no NPCs, but he specifically said everybody you see is another player.
Yeah. He said no. He did say in the other interview there are no NPCs.
Okay.
There are robots, and you get your quests like you would get them, like you find holotapes, things like that start quests. But there are no NPCs.
One of the training videos said, "Be careful with your neighbor when they come a knocking. They may not just want a cup of sugar; they may want murder."
Yeah. So, we'll see how they control griefing.
Right.
Well, I think that
might
would
just be a mix of PvE versus PvP servers, right? Like, I mean, games like Ark are doing that. I mean, MMOs have been doing that forever. But
no, I don't think that's what they're doing. I don't think there's going to be anything like that. I think it's all one big giant open world. I mean, that's the Bethesda. It's like
Rust or DayZ is the idea,
right?
Yeah.
It's almost like Cyrodiil in Elder Scrolls Online, where it's all PvP and either you have friendlies or you don't, but there's no alliances. It's just, there's my friends. Let me group up with my friends and we'll go defend ourselves against this, or they'll help me get my stuff back from this person over here, or I can go and loot these people that have been looting me for days. Because one of the other videos said if you find one of these little key cards for the missiles, and they find a bunch of other people that are unhappy with being continuously attacked, and it showed a bunch of cartoons that were injured and stuff, and each one had one of the pieces to the codes, and what they all put it up, and it said bingo, and then they said then you can go and unlock it and just do whatever you want with the nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
So is the end game in this game like repeated destruction by nuclear apocalypse? It's just like all games eventually get there. Is this the idea? Like that's how they could it's just eventually you kill everyone and we all start over.
It's true, yeah.
One wonders, yeah.
So
could it be a model for multiplayer for Skyrim or Elder Scrolls titles in the future? Like because, you know, Michael was saying try to tie all this stuff together earlier. Do we think this might be not a test pilot, but a potential way to have your cake and eat it too? Like ES6 would be single player, but maybe we use something similar to this Fallout 76 model where you can kind of,
I think
for multiplayer or not.
For Elder Scrolls, they have ESO, which is that's their MMO right there for Elder Scrolls. That I don't think. Well, maybe they would, but it'd be kind of fighting what you already have, unless they anticipate ESO dying down sometime in the near future, which at this point it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, they seem
that's
to be,
fair. They'd kind of be shooting themselves in the foot if they gave you a multiplayer option on the next Elder Scrolls. But
I don't know why.
I would just like smaller.
Would
I would like smaller scale multiplayer. That's all.
Why would they be shooting themselves in the foot? I think it's a slam dunk that they're going to incorporate something Fallout 76 like into the next Elder Scrolls.
I don't know.
Well, I think what was it? Origins, Dragon Age.
Mm-hmm.
The third one. Was it the third one? Yeah, the third one actually had the full game, and then it had a 4-man option multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of the game. And if they do something like that, I think it would be perfectly fine. Then that way the single players don't have that somebody's coming into my world and messing stuff up.
Yeah, that's the idea. Is you want to be able to have the, you know, this Elder Scrolls 6 experience, like just with your friends, like like and sort of have just the ability to like put the velvet cord,
like
a
straight co-op,
like a hangout, right? Like we're just going to invite 3 other people to play with us.
Yeah, like Kyle just said. Yeah, that's exactly right. I just want to share my ES with 1 or 3 other players. Yeah, I agree. That would be super awesome.
We'll see. The players that I want to play with.
Who I know aren't going to like hide behind a tree and shoot me whenever they get a chance. Yeah, right. Where we can work cooperatively.
Or not even just that. Like it's just crowded, right? Yeah. Like I mean, one of the things, like if you play at off hours, it's different. But I mean, I'm sure that like one of the things with MMOs that it doesn't irk me, but just like they're crowded. You know, which can be an advantage if you're more like a crafting and economy type, character. You want a lot of people on your server, but sometimes I want to just wander around. I don't want to get there and find out that somebody else has killed this bear already, right? whatever. So I think I'm not against ESO. Like I bought it for $12.50. I got that in Morrowind this week on special in the Steam. So I will play it. I will enjoy it. I will beg Juan for advice repeatedly. Harass him in the Facebook group nonstop for the next few months.
I got as much information as I can give.
But I mean, that's going to be a busy world, and sometimes I'm going to want to just like sit down with my best friend, who's really like a 15-minute drive down the road, but we both have kids. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to. I don't have that experience. Like, like Cookie's saying, just 1 to 3 players, right? Or the smaller geeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Keith was saying, is there a way to enter, like, say, a PvP or a non-PvP server? I mean, specifically,
I think that's the whole point with Fallout 76. There isn't.
It's just
there's none of that. It's just one big open world. I don't think it's.
But you may be able to
using a traditional model for.
I wonder if you can curate your world, like who's in it. You know what I mean? Like if you have 24 people that want to get together and play.
It's like Minecraft. You could whitelist and blacklist, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, that might be an option that would eliminate some issues as well.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that might not be something.
Sign up for the beta and find out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that might be stuff that
I have.
Yeah, me too.
I've pre-ordered already.
Yeah, I mean, I am curious about it just to see what it's going to be like, because I think the thing for me with Fallout 4 is it's really hard to go back to it because it is so limiting in my mind, where it's like unless I start playing it on PC, I'm always gonna be that lone wanderer that is trying to save their baby.
Yeah, you're very limited. Yeah in that realm for sure.
And it's worth noting that like a totally player controlled environment like we might be talking about with 76, like there's models that prove that works. Like you look at EVE Online, if anyone's ever played that game, I mean the economy is entirely player run. They tell you straight up, like when you get in there, like we don't take any responsibility if you're cheated on the market, or this and that. Like in their case, they have security levels in the various star systems, so above a certain number you're safe and you can't sort of PvP effectively below a certain number. But this is a world where there are missions and all this kind of stuff, but this is a world that's completely player driven. Like people build these massive, 11,000 strong corporations, and they go to war over territory, determining who controls what. And the makers of this game are just letting this happen. Yeah. They're not putting out updates for this is the new area that you're allowed to play. I think it's completely player driven. But so they've got this player base of about 60, 70,000 really hardcore people, and maybe another 100K that drop in and out. So it's very small, but if you buy into the premise, the people who love it. I'm not allowed to play that game because I disappeared. They gave me a free week a couple years after I'd stopped playing, and I played for 40 hours straight. It's horribly addictive. I love it so much. But anyways, it's proof that we're talking about being concerned about how you control griefing and all this kind of stuff. But if you build an environment where sort of these are the ground rules, the people that will eventually stay with the game will absolutely love it, and they will do fantastic and creative things with that. And the people that don't, well, they'll punch in, they'll pay for a month, and then they'll quit.
Yeah.
Maybe they're okay with that. Maybe they're okay with that, right? You'll probably have a very hardcore group that will absolutely love it, and a lot of people that sort of casually flip in and out every so often.
Yeah, I think they'll adjust it to where it's pretty balanced. It seems like that's what they do with ESO, and
they don't want to make it into Rust or H1Z1 or something like that, where it's just or DayZ. I'm sure they don't want it to be that. Graphically, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, the graphics look really nice. I mean, it's amazing what they did with ESO and the graphics on there. And if Fallout 4 is more than likely, it's going to be better just because it is going to be newer. I mean, it's going to look amazing.
Yeah, it should look pretty good. Andrew says just mod the kid out of it, Juan. Just mod the kid out of the game.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it plays out, especially through the beta where they adjust things and see what works and doesn't work. I think that's going to be fascinating to see.
Yeah. I'll be there. I was totally negative about it when I heard about it, but having seen it now, I'm very intrigued. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think that was part of why they dropped Starfield in 6. Honestly, the little minor teasers they did, because I assume they were like, we don't know how this Fallout 76 thing is going to go over.
Well, I mean, it's obvious that he does actually listen to any of the comments that are made on Reddit and everything else. So he must have seen some of the negative comments that were coming out of that about the announcement they were making for 76 and the little bit that people had heard. So they're like, okay, let's kind of not put all our eggs in this basket right here. And we think it's amazing, but so far there's a lot of negative, and if we can't turn them, we gotta give them this cookie right here.
Yeah, exactly. And
so you literally think they dashed off a trailer in the 10 days between the Watch This Space and E3?
No, I don't think so.
They probably had it planned out before that. They're smart enough to know. Yeah.
I think they listened to me, and I think what they really heard. I mean, sure, they heard some of the anger and the trolling and stuff like that, but what they also, I think, heard loud and clear was what a lot of people were saying, which was, look, just give us a little bit. Just say something.
Yeah,
that's all we want. All we want to hear is, yes, we're working on it.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it. Just so that we know that it's coming.
Yeah, and they did that, and I thought that was very cool. I was also kind of surprised that it actually is called Starfield.
Yeah. Oh, quickly with 76 real quick again, though. That interview Todd Howard did, he did speak about modding Fallout 76, and he said that is definitely something they want to do. Obviously not at the start, but as it goes on and they stabilize it and all, that's definitely something they want to open up because, they recognize how important it is for their games.
Yeah.
So that was definitely addressed.
Yeah, that definitely makes it not a traditional MMO as well.
Yeah, no, the modding definitely not. Yeah.
Again, I start thinking of Minecraft again. This idea where you or I are creating a server, we're whitelisting people who can play. It's got these 6 mods in it that you all need to run. Like, I'm starting to feel that almost that Minecraft vibe for it.
I bet cool. There's some inspiration from that. I would have to think, you know.
I was kind of getting that feeling as well. I mean, I've never played Minecraft, but the fact that you can sit there and build your whatever, and then you sit there and kind of fold it up and take it wherever you want. It's definitely kind of got that feeling where, yeah, I'm gonna invite these people over to my place and they can do whatever, and it's I kind of like that.
Well, that level of multiplayer is going to work really well with consoles, right? Because I mean, you've already proven through Xbox, etc., that you can, multiplayer on a small hosted server with Minecraft again, to go back to it, right? Like, you can, the technology can already handle that. So
yeah, Fortnite, all that
Minecraft's
stuff.
really cool that way. I mean, Sean, for instance, and a friend of his are building I think it's 500 by 500. They've got an immense space. They're building a scale to scale model of Minas Tirith.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And on the server they're on, the person who owns the server actually gave them the space and blocked it so that nobody can go in there until they're done, which is pretty cool. That's one of the really nifty things about Minecraft. It's so. I mean, the small amount that I've played of Minecraft, I'm sure everybody can guess which mod I put in there first. Yes, Skyrim.
Oh, yeah,
That was out early on. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it'd be cool. I don't know. I didn't really get that. Personally, I didn't get that feeling from what he was talking about with 76. Everything he was saying was, it's just one big open world.
Well, he did call it the ultimate survival game.
Yeah. Yep. And I also, I mean, and I mentioned this to Andrew earlier on one of the messenger chats, just commenting about how lush the vegetation looked. And he made a point that hadn't even occurred to me, and that was that, well, perhaps what they're saying is that, I mean, we all know Vault 76, what it was, if you know anything about Fallout lore. And so perhaps the implication is that a lot of the devastation that we see in Fallout 3 and 4 happened afterwards by the people who survived rather than during the initial apocalypse. Although that's not, when you see the opening sequence of Fallout 4, it's not, but it's an interesting concept anyway. I thought it was a good observation, especially with all the possibility of firing off nuclear warheads. So.
Well, like you said, I mean, they do have the little mini nukes and everything else, and
right.
And we know human nature is kind of survival of the fittest type of thing. So and that's why you have the raiders. That's why you have the, what are they called? Just all the other factions, including the super mutants. Everybody wants to control something, and so. I think one of my government teachers said, when the government was started when one person saw another person on top of a mountain,
Yep. And knocked him off.
Pretty much, yes. Or made friends with them. So whichever way it, Yeah. But eventually, there's arguments, and might makes right.
Yep.
Yeah, so that should be interesting to see how that plays out over time, for sure.
They'll get a few of my bucks. I think that's the first Fallout title that's really caught my attention.
Yeah, it's so different. I feel like it's hard to pass up. And I definitely want to pre-order because I want to sign up for the beta. So.
Yep. Yeah, I'm already on the list. I don't know if you can actually pre-order yet, but I signed up for whatever I could on the site there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
you're on the waiting list to wait for the game to come out.
That's there you
go. yeah, exactly.
It's like you said, no seat scams. at a certain spot in front of the Apple Store, and then you're off doing something, and you come back and wait ahead of time.
Yeah.
So, getting back to ES6, I'm kind of looking at a map here, and it looks like Elsewhere, Valenwood, Black Marsh, Morrowind, Vardenfell, the Somerset Isles, Hammerfell, and High Rock have water sources on the right side, as you guys described.
Yeah, they do, but that in that screen, or excuse me, in that video, you're traveling towards tall snow-capped mountains, and there's really only one area of Tamriel where there are tall snow-capped mountains like that, and that's either Northern High Rock or Skyrim.
Right.
So I don't know. It could be a giant, misdirection, a clever ruse, but it just.
Another reason I think,
it could just be one part of an entire map. I mean, they could do High Rock, Hammerfell, and Skyrim.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think I said that a few months ago on one of our podcasts. Was what do I want out of Elder Scrolls 6? I want all of fucking Tamriel. That's what.
Right. I was just like, what if it's just Elder Scrolls Tamriel?
Right.
Yeah.
Because
that would be amazing.
Deceptively big. Like you can really like walk across that in a reasonable amount of time, so on and so forth. Like what if it's just, they throw the world open?
Yeah.
ESO almost opens up the entire map. So they have the map. They have everything already set up with roads, and they have the what do you call it? Your mountains and everything the way that they've kind of envisioned it. So why not just take those maps that already exist, or those land masses that they've created in ESO, and just bring them over into a single player game?
Absolutely.
It just has to make them glow in the dark, though. That's the only condition, is they have to fucking glow in the dark.
Absolutely. No, I think computers are powerful enough now. I don't think it's a matter of that. I mean, and things, it's not that hard to do, procedural stuff. All the assets are there. I don't think it would be that impossible. The biggest problem is they have to optimize for console, and even the consoles are getting and create the content. That's tough. But they're a big enough studio now. I think they can do that. But the even if they do it on an ESO model where they start with something big and keep building on it. But
the DLCs are new provinces is maybe what you're thinking?
That's the first thing that I thought of when you were saying that.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And also, you have all the old assets. Like if it's Elder Scrolls Tamriel, let's just go way down this rabbit hole. Like you have Daggerfall, you have all these other like you know what I mean. You have all these previous games that like all you need to do is update the graphics on them.
Yeah,
which itself may be a huge task, but like you have all of Morrowind already. You have you just need to pretty it up.
Yeah.
Drop it in your game, So
you have all the basics. Yeah.
Well, and it wouldn't surprise a lot of the modders that this Creation Club thing that's come out. There are several modders that have gone almost completely silent, and I'm wondering how many of them are now under really strict working with Bethesda now, like Eleonora and people like that. So there's a lot of potential there for exactly that big giant. I mean, they are the company that does the big sandbox just about better than anybody. So why not make it bigger?
Well, we're gonna have to play it for 20 years because I mean, look how long it took us to get to 6. So it better be big, right?
Why not? I mean,
it better be big.
I've been playing Elder Scrolls games for almost that long, so might as well,
I mean,
there's a certain logic to that, right? Like if you think about it, if that's your model, like you start with some base with Elder Scrolls 6, and the DLC is not like a quest package anymore, but it's literally like to follow the Elder Scrolls Online model. Like it's literally new maps, new geography. Yep. So you continue to just build on the game that you have, and maybe there's update patches as you go. But like, that's an interesting way to look at it, is that like we're going to give you a world and enlarge it. Like this will be the last Elder Scrolls game that just keeps getting bigger.
The only problem with that is the game, the series, whatever you want to call it, has been around for so long, and there have been there have been several permutations, I guess is the best, the nicest way of putting it, of the lore, and they've covered those up with what the phrase they invented, the dragon breaks, right? Mm-hmm. So you have these sort of hard left turns in the lore. So if you look at maps of Skyrim, for instance, from back in the Arena / Daggerfall days, it's very different from the map of Skyrim that we're familiar with now. So they do have to pick an era. That's one problem, because Tamriel, they're actually, and I'll try to find the link, and maybe we can put it in the show notes. There is an awesome video out that it's about like 4 or 5 minutes that I just popped up. I don't know how long ago it was made, but it's an animated version of a map of Tamriel, starting in the Merethic era right up to basically 210 fourth era, and it's quite enlightening.
You know what I would love to see era-wise? I would absolutely love to see man comes to Tamriel. Like, you go way back, you go right to the beginning. Yeah, this is the era, right? Like before they built Jorvaskr and all the Elnofe are still there. Like, I'd go way back, like right to the dawn of it.
Well, maybe let's apply that to the map in the teaser. Could that possibly be Sarthal there?
Oh, right. Before it's destroyed. Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. And somewhere out there is like, what is that huge tower that the aliens built and stuff? That'd be something to see. Like, if the aliens were running around, everything. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I can speculate myself into disappointment if I'm not careful. But no, like, don't you think that'd be an awesome era for the game? Is like just right when these two sort of cultures meet and stuff, and the gods are still very new and young. And
well, if they're going down the route of the RTS, a little bit of RTS, a lot of whatever, then why not start the game, ES6 in the Merethic era Tamriel, and let the players evolve themselves right up through the eras. That would be amazing.
And as man expands, right? As man expands across Tamriel, these are your DLCs, right? Like you make it through the first province, and then you've gotten to the second. Like, you move with the lore, right? And eventually you're building the empire potentially, or whatever.
Yeah. No, that would be awesome. Yeah,
it's a great fan fiction if it doesn't.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, but it'd be awesome. Yeah, because they'd never sell another game, right? That would be the end. True. Yeah,
right. Which reminds me, I think the actual building thing started with Oblivion, because everybody there was some people that made a Kvatch rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So since that game, people have wanted that whole building thing, or at least some of the modders have done it too, because then in Skyrim they rebuilt what was it, Helgen?
Oh yeah, Helgen rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Whiterun, technically, or what? Not Whiterun, Winterhold rebuilt.
Winterhold. Oh, they did a
not rebuilt, but isn't there a Winterhold?
Yeah, there's several mods that add a bunch to Winterhold. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's tons of stuff like that out there now.
Well, it's about time. It's been 200 years since that mountain exploded, and the guards are still complaining. You're gonna hammer and some nails. If you had a blacksmith in this town, maybe you'd have some houses again.
It's a good point.
And that stupid Jarl thinks helmet's gonna make him, some big time dude again. Well, no.
I've never even spoken to the Jarl in that town. I go straight through there, and I go right to the college.
It's a good Radiant quest. You should go grab his helmet for him.
It's literally a 1-horse town. Exactly. To provision the college, as far as I'm concerned.
All I know is it's the hardest place to get your bounty over 1,000.
No doubt.
Well, that is true. Yeah, because there's nobody around. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I killed one guard, and then the other one attacked, and I ended up having to kill him too. And there was nobody to see that, so I had no bounty.
And there's only like 2 places you can rob, right?
Yeah.
Brynna's Oddments, and then I guess the inn. Right?
The inn. That's it. Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, you can try to kill the Jarl's steward.
You could do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then you have to try to run out the door, which it won't let you.
What if you? Yeah, you know what? There's that mine nearby, right up the road. That if you kill those people, I think that's technically part of the town, isn't it?
Yeah, the guards patrol out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just what is it? West of the.
Is that Kolskegger mine? I don't know.
Yeah, it might be Kolskegger. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? If they do High Rock or Hammerfell, pretty much they've done the entire northern part of the map and not touched the southern part of the map at all.
Yeah, we still have Elsewhere and Valenwood,
and Black Marsh and Somerset.
I thought about those. I was talking about that on my stream yesterday. Where like Black Marsh would be interesting, but is it really like? Because I liked the Argonian account books. Mm-hmm. That I read on Skyrim Book Club, which you should check out on iTunes.
Yes, you should.
Tell us more about that. I haven't heard of that.
No, that's right. Fantastic.
The one thing that they always say about Black Marsh is that it's inhospitable and it's hard to travel and walk around in.
Mm-hmm.
So
it doesn't strike me as big enough to support a game. Was what I was driving at.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Like
So
it feels sort of like the marsh between Morthal and Solitude, like a bit bigger, but like if you follow the lore, like I mean there are some places there, but it doesn't strike me as it's not going to be Skyrim scale, and you can't go smaller than Skyrim now, right?
Yeah, because on the map it's about the same size as Skyrim.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, just judging by the latest map that they're using, so. Let's see, Cyrodiil and Morrowind are pretty big.
It's a little bit smaller.
Yeah, slightly smaller, but not anything except. I would say Elsewhere and Valenwood are much smaller.
Right.
Well, that's where I was going with Elsewhere.
If you put those two together, then you have still about the size of Black Marsh.
Yeah. Now, if you did High Rock and Hammerfell together, now you've got about the size of Cyrodiil or Morrowind, even.
Yeah.
Well, I think High Rock's interesting because you've got the Orsinium as well, right? Mm-hmm. So could you set up some analogy to the Civil War quest line where you have the Bretons and the Orcs?
Yeah, I think you definitely
in whatever era, but they seem like natural antagonists for you to pick a side.
Was it you that said you'd like to see when they got rid of Trinimac or when Trinimac was swallowed?
That might have been Victor talking about his character. I don't think I've ever really said that I wanted to see that event.
Okay, around that time period.
Well, there's a lot of orcs who believe that Malakath is a false god. I forget the name of the orc king. It was during the destruction of the original Orsinium, which was in High Rock. It's Gorgoth or something like that. He was a Malakath naysayer and believed that Trinimac was alive, and it was all basically a misdirection by Boethia to make the orcs, to subjugate the orcs. But if I could put this link, I'm gonna put a link in the chat here. This is a really interesting map.
And you know what? I totally forgot. Daggerfall takes place in both High Rock and Hammerfell.
So you are potentially going back to the well. That's the one thing that makes me pause about my High Rock guess. That you've done a game there, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's so long ago. I mean, when the hell was Daggerfall? Jeez.
20 years ago?
It's got to be, right? 96 it was released. So, I mean, you're talking 22 years now, not let alone when this comes out. You're talking 25 years.
Yeah. So how much free range did you have? Like, were you mostly just in the town of Daggerfall?
I don't think I ever played Daggerfall, so I don't really know how large the map was.
From what I heard, it was actually a really big map.
Yeah.
Huge.
But it was kind of randomly created as you were going through.
Okay, randomly generated.
If you've ever played either Dungeon Master or a couple of the games like that, you'll know what Daggerfall looked like. Very much the same, square by square. I loved Dungeon Master. It was one of my favorite games of the 90s. Played it on my Amiga.
Nice.
I just dropped a link. I tried to put it in the YouTube chat, but I guess you can't do that, which is fine. But for anybody who has access to the ASA and Fallout feed, pass this link on or post it on the Facebook group. It's a really cool animated map of the history of Tamriel every decade, starting in like 2540 Merethic. And it really gives you a really good idea of all of the different empires and kingdoms and where things were and what things were, pre-Skyrim and stuff like that. It's very cool. Good map.
I keep bopping in and out of the chat with the size conversation and keep taking it completely out of context. Every time I click back and forth, I'm clicking between maps on UESP, and I keep bopping back in, and Andrew's talking about how huge it is and how happy his wife is now, and it's very disconcerting when I go back and forth. Very disconcerting.
You're gonna have to drop the panhammer.
Been to Angela's aromatics recently.
Yeah.
It
was the Hag's Cure where you get the potion for the Jarl's steward in Marthal. In Mark.
Plentiful stamina.
Plentiful, yeah.
It's the potion of a stallion, I think it's called.
That's it. That's what it was. Yeah. I think that's what it was. Oh gosh. Yeah, you know what? In the map thing, I guess Daggerfall only used the Iliac Bay area, so it didn't really use the entirety of Hammerfell and High Rock. It just used either side of the bay of both regions. So, because they happened to line the bay on both sides, so it didn't use the whole of those areas. But it does seem odd them going back, which they haven't done before. But I mean, it is so far in the past that
who cares about the Khajiit and the Argonians and
yeah. But I can definitely see linking, Valenwood elsewhere and Blackmarsh together.
Sure.
Yeah, or Valenwood elsewhere and Somerset Isles.
Yeah.
Well, they're allied at some point in one of the Great Wars, right? Yeah. Like the Khajiit and the Bosmer and somebody else.
Right. Because, for Blackmarsh, I would almost see it hooked up with Morrowind just because there is such a history there.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And they would flow, and you kind of, you're not skipping over. Like, to get from elsewhere, you can sail to Blackmarsh, but most likely you're going to go through Cyrodiil, so you kind of want to avoid that as well, without making it look like you're purposely avoiding it. Because that would be weird,
Right.
Well, this is just the first of many.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Yes.
For 3 years, we're going to look at this one image.
Yeah.
Well, that was the meme, right? Like, it's a 32-second trailer, and like I've been looking at this for 5 hours.
Yeah.
I have to go watch some good
2 years of
breakdowns.
speculation. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to look at 1 second a month for the next 3 years, and then the game will be out.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I'm hoping you're right with the 2 years, but man, I don't know.
It seems like such a long time.
Well, I just think, I think a lot of the assets are built.
Yeah, I would think so too.
The engine the new engine must be probably Starfield is their first big practice game on
probably,
the new engine, whatever it's going to be called, GEC, creation kit, whatever. So they already started updating it, between Skyrim SE and Fallout 4. I think possibly Fallout 76 is on maybe a newer version of that same old engine, but evolved. So I just can't see it taking him another 3 or 4 years. I really can't.
I hope not.
It's mostly modeling and voice work, right?
Yeah.
Right. They're a big studio now. They've got more than one team working on it. I think
And I think they have more than like 3 voice actors.
Yeah.
God help us. Frankly, as much as I like Stephen Russell, if he's in the next Skyrim, I think I'll probably, or the next ES, I will probably not buy the game.
My only problem
that's not true, but yeah.
Let's retract that and say the next ES doing like 5 or 6 voices.
Yeah.
If he does one or two, I think it'd be okay.
Yeah.
And we know Linda Carter will be in it, I assume.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah.
My only problem was when someone notable but insignificant, like a shopkeeper, is also the voice for like a major endgame boss or something like that. Like that's jarring.
That is definitely jarring.
Actually, one of the worst, I think, missteps in voice actors in the entire game of Skyrim is the fact that the voice of Matthias and the voice of Sindig is the same actor.
Yeah,
that was like a really fucked up pick, and I don't know. That was just like very bad, actually. A really shitty. Really shitty thing to do. It really freaked me out when I first heard that.
Oh yeah, I never even thought about that. Yeah.
I, for one, had a great time pantsing Luke and Valerius in the form of like that guy you defeat at the end of the penultimate enemy in Dawnguard.
Okay.
I got a big kick out of that. But like that's what I was referring to. It's like it's ridiculous.
It is weird. Yeah, you hear the voices. Yeah.
But that guy is such a jerk. I swear to God, like every time you come back with that clause, funny, it's a little smaller than I remember. Well, that's what she said. But also, you ignorant fool, like look what I just went through to get this thing for you, and this is what I get. Oh, it's a lot smaller. What are you implying? Did I shave some gold off of it? That always seemed just so disrespectful. I don't know, something about that.
Oh, here's something. What are the odds that we get a voiced protagonist in either Starfield or ES6? I'm setting that lower. Let's say over under 30%.
Yeah, I agree with Steve. Well, at least in the ES, I think 0.
Yeah, I think
Starfield is maybe a 50-50.
Yeah, Starfield, I could see it, but I think the issue.
Howard has said he felt like they made a mistake there.
Yeah, well, the biggest issue with Elder Scrolls is I don't want my Khajiit to sound like a normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would have to do way too many voices in Elder Scrolls, so I don't see it possibly happening. Yeah.
Well, here's the trick. Like you can get away with this in Mass Effect when you're playing Shepard. So Shepard can sound like something, male or female. You can skill Shepard any way you want. But you can voice Shepard because no matter what version of the game you're playing Shepard.
Right.
Or like a lot of these other games.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. But what I'm saying is, like in Elder Scrolls, you're playing you.
Yeah.
So, are we going to now have like voice menu mods as opposed to race menu mods where, people are, like that's what it would come down to.
Yeah.
Because
you would have to select a voice and yeah.
Yeah, you got 800 characters, but 6 male and 6 female voices, right? Like that's just not good enough.
That would be bizarre. Yeah,
Right.
that just.
I think that's why silent protagonist.
I just think it works. Allows you to just create your own dialogue in your head for multiple playthroughs. Whereas,
I think that's the big thing.
Yeah.
You sit there and you make a character, and in your head you already know what his voice sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I made a Hispanic player in Fallout, but then he just sounded like the normal voice, and I'm just like, no, but I want him to have a little bit of an accent in there,
Yeah. Yep. So you can hear whatever you want, though. That's the thing. Yeah. Whereas in Fallout, they kind of lost it with that.
Yeah. I've been playing Fallout with the silent protagonist mod, and it works well.
Yeah, because you still have all the dialogue boxes, but you can hear it however you plan on speaking it in your head, as opposed to
Yeah, and I'm willing to sacrifice cutscenes for that sort of creative freedom in my mind, like because that's the advantage of voice protagonist, and it's always the same person no matter how you build them. Is you can make cutscenes, right?
Yeah,
but I'm okay with sacrificing cutscene for the freedom that like Juan's talking about, to like actually hear my character sound the way that they sound in my head or whatever,
Yeah.
or do really bad voices on YouTube or the internet.
Yeah. Wait till you hear Eli scamming. You want to hear bad voiceover? Yeah, you'll love it.
There's a circle of badness, gentlemen, right? Like eventually something becomes so bad that again it is good. You know, it's the Austin Powers movie.
Yes,
theory
that's true.
Right there, you know?
Yeah, you go
like
all the way around.
Like listening to Skyrim books with a New York accent.
Yeah, I don't know. Who would do that? Who would do such a thing?
Oh man, that would be.
Well, you were my great
defender, I thoroughly enjoyed that. I thought it was enjoyable, fun to listen to, because if you just hear it in the same voice every time, it's just kind of like. So it sounded like a Goomba or something, you know, just so like a thug or something. I'm just like, that works. I don't care.
Yeah, no, you were my great defender, Juan. You were the one that's like, you know what? If that guy doesn't like it, he can start his own damn podcast and read the books any way that he wants to.
Yeah, and that's what it boils down to, you know. If people want to listen to it, they listen to it, and obviously a lot of us enjoyed it. So why get down with one person, you know?
Oh no, I mean, like I said, I took it on board. Like there was I'll say this quickly, not to derail the show, but like I didn't. Coming into this, I had very limited experience with Skyrim as a game and no experience with the community. And I just so once I, stopped being a little bit miffed about that comment, I kind of realized that like some of the people that are going to seek out this content, they're really going to take this game seriously. So they're going to view me being a little over the top and sort of comedic and silly about it as almost like not an insult, but like I'm making fun of their taste for the lore, or their love of the lore. So like I kind of tried to dial it back. Like I would still do voices, but I didn't go quite so silly after that. That was my middle ground. It's like I should be able to have fun. It's my show.
Exactly.
I mean, nobody else is doing this 5 days a week, right? But,
that's right.
But I should equally have a little respect for the passion that people in the community are going to have for this, and not like they might hear the idea like, oh, this is a great idea, and they tune it up, and it's like a really bad Arnie impersonation followed by like a Goomba, followed by like a really bad falsetto, and they're like, this guy is shitting all over this game that I love. Like, so I tried to find a middle ground.
I was just glad I didn't have to read the books myself. So,
and then you still don't audiobooks of Skyrim. You download that mod, plug that in.
That's right. Keith is requesting ESO Book Club.
Well, okay. Can we wander off a little bit? I don't really come on here now to plug my show. I was just glad to hang out and talk. But can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah,
go for it.
Okay. So I am waiting on 2 plays to be delivered by a fellow who's got a couple people. They're going to try to give them a bit of a radio play spin. It's Legend of Crately House and the Horror of Castle Zier. And I have Michael's recording of the Book of the Dragonborn.
Oh yes, that's right.
I think it's fantastic and is ready to go. But that's it. That's basically that's it for Skyrim Book Club. That's all the Skyrim content that's worth publishing. I mean, we'd be down to like recipes and shit at this point, right? So
yeah, that would be rough.
Oh yeah, no. Like the last 2 weeks have been just awful. Like I've been publishing like 5 or 6 a day because I feel so bad. Like I literally read Bally's to-do list because you find it somewhere. So like if you open that, you should have a reading of it, right? Like this is the way we got to it, and I didn't plan the end. I didn't even think I would get here, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean,
so I didn't spread out enough of the fiction to kind of like have some stuff to sprinkle at the end. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that alongside all of this, I'm really like fighting my RSS feed limit. Like I had to go through 655 posts and take out all the known locations entries and all the text because that's what it took to reduce the size of my RSS feed so it would keep pushing up to YouTube or up to iTunes. Mm-hmm. So the plan is, ESO Book Club, right? It was the joke in the comments. And sure enough, I want to continue to do Elder Scrolls content in that format and, go back into previous games for books that maybe didn't make the jump, go ahead into ESO, all that sort of thing. Maybe look at some really good modded books. There were some that were suggested over time. But here's how this is probably going to happen. I have to work out the details. So this is my idea in principle, not my promise of what's happening tomorrow. Capiche? What I want to do is Skyrim Book Club Arcanium Edition. So basically, it comes off the same website. I'll build a page to build a separate RSS feed. And the idea is you go into the Arcanium and you can get the lore from anywhere. Right? Like which is sort of sensible inside Skyrim is Urag should have everything, right?
Yeah,
and if he doesn't, you can go fetch it, Noble Adventurer. But I think so what I'll do is it'll actually end up being like a second show. It'll live on the same website. Mm-hmm. It'll all be published to the same Twitter feed and whatnot, but it'll be a separate like iTunes podcast you would subscribe to, because I don't have the technical skill and you hit a wall. Like RSS 2.0 technologies, that's it. They stop at 1024K. They're just not allowed to be bigger than that. Nobody's updated that technology. It's retarded. We're shooting Teslas into the moon, and I can't have an RSS feed bigger than a megabyte. But anyways, that's basically my plan, is that it will tip over to Skyrim Book Club, like Arcanium or Arcanium Edition or something like that. The Arcanium will be there, and it will effectively become like a second podcast that you would subscribe to that would go through similar but reduced updates, like probably 2 a week with a bit higher production quality, adding in sound effects and stuff like that and whatnot. Because I do have other projects I want to work on. Like I achieved my goal of publishing everything in Skyrim. That's the goal I had when I started. I like it. I want to continue it, but there are other things I'd like to do audio wise. So I'm going to commit to 2 a week of a slightly higher quality, and it'll be under a new RSS feed, a new title, but off the same website. So,
well, if you want readers, I'd love to volunteer. So if you want somebody to read, I will. I'd love to read some books for it.
No, 100%. Absolutely. And Juan can be our sort of navigator through what's good and bad in the lore for ESO. He can be our personal Urag and
I think
curate everything.
I think Victor knows a little bit more than I do. But I could do a really bad Spanish accent.
A really bad Spanish accent.
So you'll do all the Khajiit readings is what you're going to do. Because really, don't they all sound like slightly amorous Spanish fellas?
Kind of like Boots in Boots.
Right, exactly. So anyways, thank you for letting me take 5 minutes of the show. But that's the basic plan going forward. Is we'll see the last couple entries on Skyrim Book Club, I imagine in the near future, and then we'll start working towards another feed, another show, but living off the same website and Twitter feed and that kind of thing.
Cool. Awesome.
Oh, that sounds good. Sorry, wife is upstairs texting me. Like, where are you at? I'm downstairs.
Done yet?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It is creeping up on your bedtime, Michael.
Oh God, it's long past my bedtime, but it's okay. No, it's not. It's not.
See, we think this is something naughty, but she's got like ice cream and a corn dog or something up there for him. That's what it really is.
Ice cream would be nice. I wish I could still eat ice cream.
Oh, the number of calories you burn, you can still eat ice cream.
No, it's the lactose issue.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I could definitely burn them off, but the lactose is killing me. But oh gosh, yeah. Well, I think we're gonna have so much more time to talk about E3.
Yeah, no,
about 2 years, right?
Yeah. Oh God, I was just thinking about that again. But I think we got a pretty thorough thing. I hope we see dribs and drabs of Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 in the future. Yep. I don't expect a lot, but I mean,
no, I'm actually looking forward a lot to more Starfield stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Really, really cool. Yeah. So that'll be fun.
That could be a super interesting game
for ES6. Give me 30 seconds every 4 to 6 months. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, just give me like, here's a flyover of this area with not a lot of stuff in it, but we're not really going to show you anything. That's fine.
Yeah.
Show me one person swinging a sword, and I can podcast about that for 6 months. You just hook me up, Bethesda. We will promote for you like nobody's business.
Look, it's 2018. 2018. This stuff's been going on for 7 years.
I know.
Ever since Skyrim came out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, when I started, I figured I was nearing the end of the life of the game, and that was a long time ago. I don't even remember how long ago it was. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, but lucky for you, we've been able to port your show over to all kinds of different devices.
It's
Michael.
true.
It's really extended the life of anything.
Yeah, just wait until the pager one is going to be awesome. The pager version of the show.
No, I want to play on my refrigerator.
On your refrigerator, yeah, it'll be under the fridge, the front of the fridge. But
yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Obviously, we have Steve from Skyrim Book Club, as we were just talking about.
Yep.
Victor, who's doing the open world, and how do you search it on YouTube? Because who knows?
I don't have 100 subscribers yet, so you have to look for It's out there. I have links on some of my videos. Yeah, you can find it, the open world, or search up VN Brazil. That's my actual YouTube handle. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's various places where I'm slowly building subscribers. I think I have like 70 now. So
subscribe so we can change that name.
I need 12 people. I'm tempted to make like 12 fake accounts.
Let's have a mass subscribing spree to Skyrim Book Club and the open world. So we can get them both to 100.
Well, if you subscribe to the open world today, you can get a free subscription to Skyrim Book Club on YouTube. We will throw that in for free, 100%.
Look at that.
We've got an introductory ESO video coming from Juan for those that pre-order now to subscribe to Open World.
Look at all these deals you're getting. Just deals everywhere. It's like
everything's for sale, my friend. Everything's for sale.
Oh god.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Victor's doing some really good stuff. Anybody listening who's not subscribed, help him out. And if you want to like prevent me from making 12 fake email addresses
and doing it,
that'd be awesome too.
12 fake emails. Oh gosh. Juan, you'll be joining me on the Oblivion Roundtable next week because I forgot it was Father's Day this weekend and I have a barbecue at my house.
I don't think they'll miss you.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, ooh. I was like, is that barbecue on Sunday or Saturday? Oh, it's on Sunday. Oh, okay. Whoops.
Yeah. And then Saturday is my birthday, so.
Yeah, oh, there you go. So we can't do that.
Oh, happy birthday if I
if
I missed it in the Facebook group one. Happy birthday.
Mine's on Friday. Yours is Saturday.
No, this coming Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, mine's this Friday, yes.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to see The Princess Bride.
All right.
With Carrie Elwell's doing a Q&A afterward.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I'm going to sit at home and play Elder Scrolls Online all day.
Sounds like a better idea.
I'm going to skip my niece's softball games that day. Which has basically been my life for 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, well, her mom works late and her dad works second shift, so I try to be there. So
nice.
That's awesome. That's really solid.
Yep. So
yeah, so then we have the roundtable the 24th. We'll be doing that with Colin, and so we can probably discuss some more ESO of what's been going on with that then as well, and we'll of course be doing our
I should be close to done with
Somerset
and the Sijiks, because we actually visit the island of what's it called where the Sijiks live. That they made disappear. Artaeum, yes.
Yeah.
And they actually start touching on a little bit of the dragon breaks.
Oh,
so
nice.
That's kind of cool.
And we just recorded 2 or 3 episodes of Skyrim 10 AD yesterday.
Yes.
Those will be coming along soon. And they were good ones.
I think
we had a lot of fun. Episode
4 just dropped on the main feed. And 5, I'm sorry, not 4, 5. Yeah. And of course, if you're in the Patreon, they're all available there. And then the live recordings pop up there. And thank you, of course, to all the patrons, some of whom are here recording. It goes to just pay for the feeds. That's what we use it for. That's what it works for. It's great for that. So it's a nice thing. So yeah, so all the Skyrim 10 ADs are there, and then they pop up on here usually about once a month. So we have a nice backlog, and we can continue on with the story. So, but I think anything else? I don't know. I don't think I have anything else.
No.
All right. Well, stay tuned. Next time will be Oblivion Roundtable. That'll probably be most likely the next episode, I'm guessing. Unless I drop by lost episodes in there. Missing episodes, whatever you want to call them. I don't remember what I call them. So, good night, everyone.
Good night, all. Thanks for all. Good night. Good night, chat.